Hey guys, it's Mr. Miller again with another tutorial, this time talking about editing your podcast. So you have hopefully recorded your voiceovers already using Audacity, which is the program I showed you in the last tutorial. If you haven't seen that, go watch it. It'll bring you up to speed. So now that you have your voiceover tracks and hopefully you've assembled your music and your sound effects you want, it's time to assemble the podcast as a whole. So you want to do this in Premiere Pro. It's the easiest way to go about it. And I've already created a project, but for those of you who need help with this, you come up here and go to File, New, and then Project. And the only settings you need to change are the location. It needs to go somewhere where you know it is, and then you need to give it a name that you'll remember. So once you do that, you'll end up with this basic workspace right here. And I'm recording this off of one of the desktops in the classroom, so this should look exactly like it should look for you guys when you use it. So in order to fetch your files, you double click in the bottom left quadrant, which is this one right over here, the project tab. You click in this and it'll let you seek out files. Now I have already imported my voiceover track and my music. So if you search in the network drive wherever you saved it, hopefully in this podcast audio folder I've created, as you can see some other students have their work in here, you can go find it. So I'm going to drag this over. And again, we're not worrying about video. This is strictly an audio experience. So I've got my voiceover track in track 1 and my audio or my music in track 2. So you'll notice right off the bat.
This is my test audio clip for how to record for your podcast.
Competing audio here. The music is too loud and my voiceover is too soft. So first thing we need to do is we're going to trim up these clips. Now you can do this in a couple of different ways. You can use just the razor blade tool, which is going to be easiest for some of you guys, or you can click the edge of a clip like this and drag it inward, or you can hit Control K. Hey, there's the bell. Or you can hit Control K and that will do it for you. Whatever is easiest for you. So we've trimmed this up and we need to do the same thing for the intro for our music. And the reason we know this is because looking at these little bumps here, that is the waveform of the audio, which is just a physical representation of what the sound looks like whenever it's being played. This will give you a good indication of how to adjust your sound. So like even without listening to it, we know we can make this adjustment and that's where the music comes in. So we'll drag that to the front. Now with this particular song, I want my voiceover to come in about 10 seconds in, like right here. So already just by looking and just from knowing, we know that the music is going to be too loud. So we want to adjust the volume specifically for when my voice comes in. So what you need to do is you need to separate these two clips here. So you essentially have the intro portion and then you have every other piece of the song. The intro volume is fine. And we know that just from looking over here at our master audio mixer down here. You can see your volume all the way through. And remember, the -6 to -12 is the sweet spot for what we're going for. That's what we're shooting for. So we know the music is right in that vein, which is perfect. But our voice is going to be a little quiet. So how to adjust the volume of music or voiceover, you can do this in a couple of different ways. The easiest way to do it, and the way I'm used to doing it, is you right click on this clip after you have it selected and hit audio gain. And it's going to bring this up. It's going to give you a few options to set the gain to or adjust the gain by, and then normalizing your max peak or all peaks. The peak being the highest you want your audio to go. The best way to do this is to adjust gain by. So what I'm going to do for my voiceover is I'm going to add about 5 decibels to it. If you do a positive number, it will go up. If you do a minus number, it will go down. Don't do this in big increments. You generally want to just do it and then see how it goes. So like with the music, we're going to bring the volume down, but I'm going to show you another way to do it. So if you come over here to Effect Controls in the top left quadrant tab, you'll notice that one of the options you have is level, which is the audio level. So instead of just typing in a number, you can come over here and adjust this by sliding it around or typing a number in. I'm actually going to do -10.
This is my test audio clip for how to...
Now the waveform itself is not going to change down here when you do this, but you will be able to notice it. Like listen.
This is my test audio clip for how to record.
You'll notice the volume got noticeably quieter, which is what we want. So now that we have that separated, we do want to make sure that it's a smooth transition between these two levels of volume. So you want to go to Effects, which is down here in the bottom left, and you want to find under Audio Transitions, Constant Power. That will basically blend two audio clips together in terms of volume. And if you want this to be a longer thing or a shorter thing, you can click the end of this and drag it in, or you can change the duration manually by right-clicking it and setting transition duration. The duration meaning how long this transition takes place. You can make those adjustments as you need to. So now if we listen.
This is my test audio clip for how to record for your podcast.
So the audio is adjusted quite a bit. So essentially what you're doing with your podcast is blending a bunch of clips together like the one that I just showed you in a way that makes sense. You can incorporate sound effects in the same way. You can incorporate multiple songs. And what I've done for you in Schoology is I've actually listed out a document that has a bunch of links. It's called Music and Sound Effect Resources. That will let you go and find music for your podcast, sound effects. You can rip some things from YouTube if you need to, whatever it happens to be for your in-class work. So once you have that all done and you've completely assembled your podcast from start to finish, you've listened to it and it sounds good, you need to export it as an Mp3 file, which is an audio file, which is what I want. So you come up here to File, like always when you export something, and then you go to Export and Media. Now, normally you would want the file format for videos to be on H.264, but since this is just an audio thing, we want MP3. So there you go. The only other thing you need to change is the output name and where it's going. So I'm going to call this podcast test 2 because I did another one earlier. And then you come down here and hit export. And once it's finished, that is the file that you need to attach to the assignment in Schoology in order to get credit for it. So that is how you basically go about editing a piece of audio from start to finish. If you have any questions, please feel free to let me know through Schoology, Remind, you can email me, or just catch me in class. I hope this was helpful for you guys. Good luck on your editing. Thanks a lot.